Thank you, Maurice. Good afternoon. I'm happy to see there's so many men here today. I was worried. The blog that's associated with the website is called Working in Heels. And I thought, oh no, no men are going to show up. But really it is about men and women working better together. Yeah. Is it on?
Is it on? No, it is.
Okay. I'm going to talk about three really important reasons that we want to thank men. There might not be the things you're thinking of. I'm going to tell you what these three reasons are. And for everyone here, I'm going to be telling you something that will help yourself, something that will help the other guy, and something that will help your business. Now, starting out in rocket science and computer technology, you can probably guess that I was usually the only woman in the room. And as people would enter the room, they would have a different stereotype of me than they would of everyone else. And I was well aware of it. I'm not complaining. I wasn't complaining then. It was kind of fun, a novel experience. But I'll bet each of you has had the feeling at some time or other that people have put a stereotype or a label on you that made you out to be less than you really are. And it's not a good feeling. It makes you feel like an outsider, like you aren't educated, intelligent, capable, assertive. Or in the case of my husband, people would assume, oh, he's a jock. He can't do anything else. So it limits the opportunities that people are willing to offer you. And it's not a good feeling. So why do these stereotypes keep popping up? Unfortunately, each of us has in our brain, I think it's in the reptilian part of my brain, a little bucket that tries to help you survive. And a long time ago, this was important. Because if you're being chased by a four-legged creature with saber teeth, you know, you needed to be able to rely on something. But nowadays, it's usually filled with wrong assumptions. And it's not helping us. We need to get past these stereotypes. I've named this bucket. I call it the what everyone knows bucket. And there's so many things where you just don't look further. You think, well, everyone knows that. Everyone knows this. So I think we need to learn to see through this foggy filter. And we need to be open-minded. And I feel that I'm open-minded, and I've worked hard for 30 years to help everyone be treated equally. It doesn't matter what your racial or ethnic background is, or if you're a man or a woman. This has been very important to me. But I have to admit, I have a problem. Every once in a while, a stereotype pops up in my head, and I fall for it. And it's very upsetting to me. I think it shouldn't happen. But I'll tell you about one that happened to me quite a while ago. I was at the first day of school with my son, and the other parents were standing there saying, oh, see that young man over there? He's the first male teacher at our school. And I said, oh, and the first thing that popped out of my mouth was, oh, he looks like principal material. And then I couldn't say anything else after that. And the other parents were saying, yes, he does. Probably in a few years he will be a principal. And I looked around at all the other teachers, all women who'd been there a long time and had done a great job. And I felt badly. I felt badly for them. I felt badly that I had said that. But that was a long time ago, so I can forgive myself. I have forgiven myself. That's not the case with one thing that happened 3 weeks ago. I called my doctor to ask a question, and the receptionist said, well, he's not in, but Dr. Jackson's taking his calls. I said, okay. So I waited quite a while, and another woman came on the line and said, Dr. Jackson. I said, yes, I'm waiting for him. And she said, in a not too happy tone, Dr. Jackson. And I thought, oh my gosh. I assumed it would be a man. And I have more female doctors in my family than male doctors. Why would I do this? And then I thought, ooh, can I get out of this? Can I hang up? I thought, here, I've already insulted her, and then I would be rude on top of it. So I just said, well, of course, doctor, of course, you know. But I wasn't fooling anyone. So has anything like that ever happened to you? Have you ever fallen for a stereotype and then later found out, you know, you were definitely wrong? Well, I always wish, being a scientist, I always wish I could take, you know, travel back in time and take a redo. But we don't get to quite do that, not yet at least. Well, the next question we need to ask is, how do stereotypes die? And scientists tell us there's 2 ways that they die. And the first way is, if it pops up enough times in your head and you've been proven wrong, then you just let it go. And the other way is if you are terribly, terribly, as in embarrassingly wrong, like I was. And I know I won't make that mistake again. So those are the two ways that stereotypes die. Now, something for yourself. What can you do to counter a negative, incorrect stereotype about yourself? It's just an important little thing that each of us needs to do. We can't just say, oh, heck with them, they assumed, you know, that I wouldn't be able to do that. But really, you need to just kind of work on it. This will be your homework assignment on the honor system. You don't really have to do it, but it's important to pinpoint. Just put a few words or phrases to what would somebody label me with? What things might they assume when they first meet me? And then what you do is you work up a few sub-comments that you can add to your introduction to them. So you can say, hi, I'm Nancy Clark, and then add something. But you need to use your intuition to decide what would be appropriate to that person. What do I think I need to add? Do I need to add something about my intelligence? Do I need to add something about my job or my capabilities? So start adding sub-comments to your introductions. And that'll be one way for you to break the stereotypes. The other way is to use a disarming action. And that would just be to be more helpful, more agreeable, you know, more intelligent than the other person is probably suspecting. And those are the two things that you can do to help yourself. And I advise everybody to just start doing that. Just assume someone's going to stereotype you. Now here's what you can do to help others. And this is important to me because I'm seeing a lot of negativity in our society. And I call it the "you've been voted off" syndrome. And I think you know what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, it seems to be growing. You seem to see a lot more of that. And so I feel like each of us needs to take a little positive step just to add some positivity to this growing thing that I'm starting to see. I call it my stereotype pay it forward method. And what you do is you just pick one or two stereotypes that pop into your head. And then think about ways you could take an action, make a comment, ask a question that would cancel the stereotype. So here's one that I've just been doing for a couple of years because it was something that stuck in my head. When I'm walking down an empty sidewalk and a young African-American male in casual dress is approaching me, and if he seems uncomfortable and looking down and trying to avoid me, I feel like, oh, he's thinking I have the danger stereotype in my head. And so I've just made it a point, when he gets close enough, I say hi, look him in the eye, and smile. And the reaction I've gotten every single time for 2 years now has been one of relief. And he always says hi and always smiles and just seems to walk away with a little bit of a lighter step. And I feel, you know, that's doing a little bit of good. It'd be a shame, you know, to have to just let that kind of thing persist. So I call it my pay it forward method. I hope each of you just picks something that you would want to do. Of course, you should do this for purely altruistic reasons because it's a good thing to do. But you know, if you do something good like that for another person, you don't have to have them even acknowledge you. It shouldn't really matter. You can pat yourself on the back. But I think recently scientists have discovered there's irony in Mother Nature. And that even, you know, that should be enough for you just to feel good. But in case it's not enough, Mother Nature's added a jolt of chemicals. She gives you serotonin to your brain and dopamine whenever you act like a do-gooder. So it's not part of the heroin category, although it's the same chemicals, I've been told. So I think, okay, it's not in that category, but it's definitely in the chocolate mousse cake, French vanilla ice cream categories. So I think wouldn't it be great if being a do-gooder became addictive? It's a possibility. Okay, we've been talking about stereotypes, which are often negative, and they cause negative reactions. But I'd like to talk about and think about more positive things. And so here